Supply Side Global 2025. Dr. Jonny Bowden, Nutrition Mythbuster. Bryce Wylde, clinician of 25 years. Danielle Masterson, reporter for Nutraingredients. And of course, none other than Brent Bishop, fitness expert extraordinaire, and more. Guys, we're talking about our finds, which we do every year. It's still one more day on the show floor. But Jonny, let's start with you because you did this incredible keynote. I was there in person to hear about it. This trend that I don't want to use plaguing us, but this trend that we have to clarify. What was your choice this year?
For products?
Well, no, not products, the trend. I mean, you talked about it. What was your keynote about?
Well, my keynote was about the opportunities and challenges in the GLP-1 world.
Right. So what are GLP-1s?
It's changing everything. What are GLP-1s? Ozempic, Wegovy, these are the magic weight loss drugs, if you will, I'm saying this in quotes, that are literally changing economies.
Right.
You know, the entire economy of Denmark, the GNP, was changed by the company that makes Ozempic. That's how big these things are.
And there are ingredients that people want to hear about that they should be taking if they're taking a GLP-1. And by the way, anyone, so Brent will talk a little bit about that. My trend that caught my attention, not just this year, last year as well, but this year it seems to have blown up even more. Not quite as much as the GLP-1 trend, but cortisol. Cortisol seems to be talked about all over. It's like recycled.
Yeah.
You know, it used to be, basically around the stress phenomenon. So cortisol, like why it's important, I think, is because, of course, these adrenal glands that sit on top of our kidneys that produce adrenaline and cortisol, they're overworked, they're overtaxed. And we know that. You can ask anyone, including the four of us, are you stressed? Everyone's going to have some degree of significant stress in their life, but when it's chronic, when it's unrelieving, unrelenting, we have problems with sleep, weight gain, we have problems with cardiovascular, the metabolic phenomenon you were talking about. It's just contributing to that. So there's no question about it. But I think this trend then leads itself again to manufacturers in this industry that try to come up with solutions, and there are way too many out there that don't work. These trends on TikTok and Instagram and social media, everyone's like moon face and trying to cure their cortisol. It's just bogus. But really cool research, Dr. Sean Talbot, good friend of ours, on marathon runners. That's a significant amount of stress. We've all done marathons.
Absolutely.
Physical stress has proven the use of Thymoquinone, the active found in black seed oil, can reduce cortisol in elevated stress scenarios by up to 44%. Wow. That's my find. I just thought that was really cool. So it's non-medical intervention for Cushing's, obviously, but it is something that has been proven in the literature, not just Dr. Talbot's, but in the general literature as something to reduce cortisol. So if you're interested in reducing cortisol, you might want to give Thymoquin a try. That's the standardized, by the way, 3%.
Let me jump in on that, if I may, because what I think the take-home from my talk was that I urged the audience to change the conversation about GLP-1s from one about weight loss to one about metabolic health. And the very same product you're talking about that lowers cortisol, Thymoquinone, is actually becoming almost a foundational supplement for metabolic health, because that's not all it does.
Right.
It helps, and this is something they don't talk about enough. There's a ratio between triglycerides and HDL that is extremely predictive of heart disease. We've known this for a couple decades. If your triglycerides are very high, your HDL is very low, that is not good. And we want that ratio. We used to say that if that ratio was 2 or under, you're not getting a heart attack. Now they've changed it. Peter Attia thinks it should be 1.5. So you want, and if you don't understand the ratio idea, it's like usually triglycerides are the bigger number, so you divide HDL into triglycerides, and that's your ratio. 50 HDL, 100 triglycerides, that's a ratio of 2. Some lucky people have a ratio under 1 because their triglycerides are lower than their HDL. Very, very lucky few. So what Thymoquin does is it lowers triglycerides and slightly elevates HDL.
Yeah.
What does that do to your ratio?
Significant
It decreases
improvement.
it. Yes, significant improvement.
Well beyond the Framingham studies, and you're all about that, having written literally the great cholesterol myth. But you've recently been into, delivery systems, right? And you're always looking around for like the next cool delivery system. So this year, what did you find?
Yeah, so still an up and coming trend, but I did come across some performance pouches. So these in particular, as an example, they've got paraxanthine in that, and that is a downstream metabolite of caffeine. So one of the formulators I was talking to, he kind of called it caffeine evolved. So users report feeling optimized and energized, but not stimulated. So I think we're really getting away from that overstimulated, very
The
jittery
crashing
feeling.
and-
Yes.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Can I chime in on that?
Yeah.
I am such a fan of paraxanthine.
I like paraxanthine
think-
too.
okay,
What
it's
is an
a
isomer?
remarkable-
What is it? It's not caffeine.
There
it's
are
similar.
3 metabolites of caffeine. That's the one that does not cause the jitters, but gives you the reason that you drink coffee for. It's an uplifting kind of like, you're just more optimistic, you have more energy. It's just an amazing supplement.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do like it.
And that's a
yeah.
pouch?
These are pouches, so it's like a little plant
try one?
fiber. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Actually,
me
you know
too.
what? They're
So
gone.
what's the
Oh,
dose?
are they gone? You've taken them all. That's
Taking them
funny.
off. I'm so sorry. But they are a plant fiber sachet, and you just pop it in, and no one knows that you have it. They're very discreet.
What's the dosage of paraxanthine in?
The paraxanthine has,
I guess every formulator is using a different amount, but I'm sure. Actually, by the way, TSI Group is the producer, I believe, of that
Yeah.
raw material,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
225 milligrams.
Perfect.
Is that the right dose?
200, 225.
Did you feel it? Did you feel
Oh,
something?
God. I can answer that. I'm sure
Oh,
you did.
go ahead.
Yeah. No. Did you?
Yeah.
I mean, everybody feels it.
Yeah.
There's
Okay.
no not feeling it.
Maybe we'll try it. So
Yeah.
that's almost 2 trends in one: delivery system and innovation through ingredient.
Yeah, the ingredients very interesting, but then there's also the pouches, which you're starting to see more of. They kind of became popular with Zins, which many of us know they've got nicotine in them, so that's not quite a dietary supplement. But now people are getting away from the nicotine and they're focusing on healthier ingredients. You know, L-theanine, paraxanthine,
Oh,
things
another
like
one.
that. Yeah.
Does
Another
that
one.
also contain L-theanine? Yeah.
Wait,
So-
so that's got L-theanine and paraxanthine?
Yeah.
What an interesting
That's a good combo.
And what is it? What's it called?
These are called Ultra, and these
Where
are
do we
called
get those? I
focus
want them-
pouches.
yeah.
There's also performance pouches. You might see some people at the gym working out, popping in those. They said that they feel
And they
a
just
little more
melt in your mouth, basically?
I wouldn't say they melt. They just kind of
Release?
there.
Dissolve.
Yeah.
Chewy release? Interesting.
Where do
You
you
don't chew
get
them,
those?
you
I
just-
want one right now.
You don't chew them. They just
Ultra.com
kind
or
of sit in your
something.
mouth.
And,
And
just dissolve over time.
Are
they don't
for sure?
dissolve. They're very discreet. They're convenient, and actually,
Oh.
got one in right now.
Nice. Oh, so you've been sucking on it the whole time,
Yeah. So
essentially.
sorry, I don't have any more
Oh,
for
no,
you.
that's
So
okay.
then you toss it?
Then you just toss it. Yep.
Ah, that's cool. I don't think I've ever tried that. Oh, we'll look for it on the showroom floor.
And where are they? I'm going to go
So
down
you can
and
order
get-
these online.
Okay.
It's interesting because I don't think you could find these, say, at the vitamin shop, as far as I know, but you wouldn't also find these at the gas station. So I believe at this time, just online.
By the
Just
way,
online. What's it
a
called?
trend. A trend on that note, another trend that I think I'm seeing more of. I don't know about you guys, but is selling direct to consumer. It's always been there, but it's increasing.
Yeah, that's a
like
good
the
point.
less and less footprint in mass, and more of a direct to consumer online presence. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
What do we
But
got?
that's not just in our industry. That's in men's clothing. Biore
yeah, I know.
started.
Yeah, well,
as
that's a post-COVID
online
phenomenon, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Right. What do we got, B?
So we got to go off this GLP-1 craze. I mean, we saw it last year too when we were here,
Yeah.
but it hasn't gone anywhere. It's doing some good for a lot of people, but I mean, you hit the nail on the head. You know, I want to talk about the protein or the muscle preservation and the key to
Absolutely.
that. You know, it's so important to preserve muscle, and especially as we know, after the age of 30, you're losing. You could be 5% per decade. But, when you look at GLP-1 users and those that are, 40, 50 and beyond, it's even
Absolutely,
more
man.
of a concern, right? So I guess my thing is, is this trend
What do
going
you
to
do?
be more,
Yeah,
what do you do? Yeah, so HMB,
Yeah.
beta-hydroxybeta-methylbutyrate.
Agreed.
A great supplement that hits both ends of that protein equation.
Yep.
Right. So,
And what's the other one you use?
and the other one's creatine. And again,
Old is
these,
new
these
again.
are so
Couldn't agree more.
highly researched, for decades. Safe, effective, and I believe I see people much more aware of these products, especially creatine.
Right.
It's not just for gym heads anymore. It's,
No,
it's,
no.
we also know there's the
And
cognitive
one of the
effects,
reasons
too.
it's making such a comeback, as I pointed out, because when I was a trainer at Equinox, we knew there were only 2 supplements that
Right.
worked for bodybuilding, right? HMB and creatine, but I forgot about them
Yeah.
after, I left that world. I figured
Yeah.
that's for muscle heads. We now know creatine's a cognitive enhancer.
Right.
It's great
Yeah.
for the brain, and especially people over 40, and there's literature on that.
Yeah. I take
That's
10
why
grams a
Daniel
day.
Amen, the psychiatrist, put creatine in his in
Yeah.
the line of Brain
The
MD.
Brain MD, yeah.
If
Yeah.
it didn't have a brain connection, it wouldn't be in there.
Right.
And he calls his smart creatine, which is the
Huberman's a fan, Atia's a fan,
Rhonda
Patrick's a fan.
is using it off-label at 4 times the dosage.
Right.
Wow.
And I mean, these guys vet the science. By the way, there's another trend right there, and that's cognitive enhancement. And I know you said nicotine is kind of faded out, paraxanthine's
I don't know about that.
I was just going to say, I feel like nicotine is another, at low dose,
Low dose
2 to 4
chewing gum.
milligrams, right? Once a day to prevent or maybe stave off cognitive decline. I think it's still of consideration. Maybe more in the biohacking side of things.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like we
Lot of
shouldn't throw it
biohackers
out.
use
We
it.
shouldn't throw out the baby with the bathwater.
I mean, it's still, at the end of the day, a botanical. It's not considered a dietary supplement, but it's a botanical, right?
Right.
Right. Yeah.
That's true, and we're not talking about smoking. A cigarette's got 10 milligrams. It's already beyond hormetic.
But it's not how much the nicotine in cigarettes, it's the 200
I know,
chemicals.
exactly.
And
No, but I mean, if you're up to whatever, people are smoking 10 to 15 cigarettes a day, that's 150 milligrams a day. That's
Very
no longer
different than 2 to 4.
advantageous.
Right.
So paraxanthine, delivery systems in pouches, beta-hydroxy, beta-methylbutyrate, HMB, my HMB, that's by TSI as well, by the way, and creatine. And then I've got, oh, by the way, thymoquinone, the active, 3% is what you want to look for. And then, of course, do all you can to stave off the muscle loss is what you guys are saying when you're on or thinking about going on a GLP-1. Guys,
And
that
lift
is-
weights. You know, you lift weights.
Yeah, oh
That
my God,
Do
resistance
some
training is
impact
so important.
resistance, some power training.
Get
These are all
moving.
really crucial things to do.
those
for,
are not
for any
optional.
age.
They're not optional. And as I pointed out, and as you guys know, that's the stimulus for growing.
That's right.
But you need the raw materials. So if
And
you're
as you
not getting
mentioned-
enough protein, and one of the things that I talked about in that thing is that these GLP-1s are exploding at just the time that we're realizing our protein recommendations were wrong.
yeah.
They were too little.
A
And
lot.
people weren't even getting the pathetically low amounts that the government said we should be getting before GLP-1. So what do you think's happening now when they're eating half the number of calories? They're all getting less than optimal amounts of protein. So they really got to double down on making every calorie count.
Absolutely.
Guys like to hear themselves talk, but you had something to say, and we're going to wrap with probably the most important bit of information.
Oh, no pressure there. No, I was just going to say, you mentioned, people in their 30s and up lose 3 to 5% of their, muscle mass over the decades. So it's so important to keep up that muscle, like you said, resistance training, because what a lot of people do is they lose that muscle first, and that's something like you gain the weight back, but you never gain that muscle back.
Exactly.
Right. Bingo, bang on.
Right.
By the way, I would summarize
there's-
this has to be our most important trend of all. Like, what I think we can come and sort of finish right here is avoiding frailty.
I was just going to mention that.
Avoiding what we call clinically sarcopenia, muscle loss over time, or at least the rate that it's naturally going to decline anyways. We can't get away from it. We can significantly slow it down. Frailty is the #1 by far cause of early death, trumps cardiovascular disease, it trumps cancer. Together, diabetes, you name all those big issues combined. Frailty is the #1 cause of early death. So what do we want to do? Not fall.
Will not fall. And,
Right.
and, the fact that we know this information, it's if people not exercising and not lifting weights and not doing some impact exercise to
Right.
help their bone density and help their muscle, because we know it's going to go down anyway.
Right.
But if we can lessen that, we have some control there.
Right.
And we all know this, right?
Yeah.
But my fear is that for a lot of people, they get prescribed these drugs, and their doctors don't really provide any guidance.
Well, doctors
None,
should be
right?
prescribing exercise.
Yeah, exercise.
Oh my gosh, and by the way, on
supplements.
that note, and you and I both agree on this already, I think we've spoken about it separately and together, but there is a phenomenon that's clear in this day and age called ADD or ADHD, but even more importantly, similar acronym, NDD, Nature Deficit Disorder. We got to get out there into nature, exercising, walking, running. What are we supposed to lift, pull, push, jump, squat?
Right.
Whatever we are supposed, right? And move, bloody move when we're not moving enough. Where can people find more out about Brent Bishop?
IamBishop.com.
All right, and Danielle?
You can find me on LinkedIn, Danielle Masterson.
I'm at Wild on Health.
Johnny Bowden with no H in Johnny on Instagram and everybody else.
All right, let's put it
Awesome,
in.
guys. Put it together. All right, that's one more year in the wraps.
Good.
Woohoo!